In this video, I'm going to start optimizing the styles for the Torsai Hotel website for tablet devices. In my experiments, I found that the iPad handled embedded fonts without difficulty, but the Samsung Galaxy Tab and HTC Desire failed to render them correctly. So what I'm going to do is to use an @media rule to limit the use of embedded fonts to screens that are at least 700 pixels wide. And that'll exclude things like the Samsung Galaxy Tab and HTC Desire. It's far from ideal, but media queries can't identify individual devices or the level of support they offer for fonts, so working on the basis of width is a good compromise. I've currently got the font definitions in desktop CSS, so I'll just open that in split view and copy the @fontface rule and then paste it in the tablet CSS style sheet. Now these first two definitions use the EOT, Embedded Open Type font format. That's only used by Internet Explorer, and Internet Explorer 9 supports WOFF, which is the Web Open Font Format. So we can get rid of these EOT definitions by selecting them there. And deleting them. Now, to prevent tablets with screens less than 700 pixels wide from using these fonts, I need to wrap that in an @media rule. So insert a little line there, @media, and then screen, followed by my media query, min width 700 pixels, and everything needs to go inside a pair of curly braces. Just to make the styles a bit more readable, I'll add a little bit of indentation there, and a curly brace needs to go at the end. And so this @media rule with its media query ensures that the @fontface rule is seen only by devices that have a minimum width of 700 pixels. Now, to see the effect of further changes that I'm going to make, I want to give myself a bit more room. So I'm going to collapse that to icons and even collapse it further, and then turn on Live View and go into the Window Sizes menu by clicking the down arrow next to the multi-screen button and selecting 768 by 1024 tablet. And that gives me a view of what it will look like in a tablet. That fixed width is being inherited from the basic style rules in the Torsai CSS style sheet. Unlike the fixed width layout for desktops, the tablet layout needs to be flexible. So let's create a rule in the tablet style sheet for wrapper. And I'm going to make the width 100%. But to stop things going crazy, I want to make it a maximum width of 700 pixels. Then a background image. Let's go to the images folder. And we have background BG tab, which is 700 pixels by 191. And finally add background size and set it to contain. Let's click in Live View to refresh the page. If it doesn't refresh, just toggle Live View on and off. The page is looking a bit of a mess now, but at least we've got the background to the banner there. The reason I've used background size contain is because I'm using a liquid layout, 100% with a maximum width of 700 pixels. So if the tablet is smaller, What background size contain does is it will shrink that image so that it still fits and maintains its aspect ratio. Now obviously the heading needs to be changed, so I'll create a quick star rule for that and refresh. It's not refreshing very nicely for me. There we go. So what I've done is I've changed the font size, I'm aligning the text in the center, and I've given it no padding on the left but some on the top, and that will work quite nicely in a liquid layout. Now let's fix this navigation menu. Create a rule for it, nav, and give it a width of 660 pixels. I'm going to have a fixed width. And set margin left to auto and margin right to auto. By giving it a fixed width and setting both margins to auto, I can now center it. You can't see the effect yet because I need to create a rule for the individual menu items. So let's do that. Nav LIA and reduce the width of them to 120 pixels and change the padding to 10 pixels on the top and bottom and 5 pixels on each side. There we are. We've now got a centered navigation menu with the individual items much narrower. I calculated the fixed width for the navigation menu by adding together 120 pixels and 5 pixels on each side. That is 130 pixels, and then inherited from the basic styles we've got 1 pixel margin on either side, so it's a total of 132 pixels. There are 5 menu items, so that makes 660 pixels. Now obviously this isn't going to work on a much narrower screen, but the values will be overridden later by @media rules for smaller screens. So there's still a long way to go, but we've made a good start.